Today, on Be Something Wonderful, the reality creation breakthrough that you have been waiting for. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. Big video this morning. I want to talk about this client that I now have met with twice over the past month or so. And what she's saying, Tom, this is really the reality creation breakthrough that I've been waiting for. And it's the stuff, guys, that we talk about every day. We just talk about it in a different way. But she just changed her assumptions, changed the way she looked at the world. I'm going to break this down for you and really get the insight. There were two areas. One where she would, once a week, she would meet friends somewhere, and they would go out to dinner. And there would always be new acquaintances. They agreed that they could just invite new acquaintances each week, make it different. And it was always fun, but she says she's always felt undernoticed, not very interesting, not very engaged. She just has this idea, this assumption that she just wasn't that interesting, and that everyone seemed to overpower her in the conversations and things like that. And part of it, she said, was when she has this skin, she has had this skin condition that clears up a little bit and then doesn't. And she's been self-conscious of that. So that's another thing that we've been talking about. But she says, once she has moved her assumptions and moved to this new identity, everything's changing. So I'm going to talk about sort of the challenge that I gave her at these weekly dinners, just to show her power. And even with her skin conditions, remember, she's putting all of those conditions there. You create reality, you perceive reality, you create it all through your assumptions. You're always seeing your assumptions pushed out into the world. We're going to talk about this. I want to be, guys, very rarely, and I think this is a first video, very few that I ever really talk about the coaching. But I wanted to talk about it today because we're getting a lot of emails because I posted something on the channel about reducing my coaching schedule. And we are making changes to that starting this month, in mid-September, this month coming, that I'm going to have a reduced availability on the schedule. So, but that doesn't mean that you can't get a session with me, right? We're blocking off some time there because now we have several clients, several now that have these coaching packages where they schedule through the calendar, but their other sessions are scheduled off the calendar. We want to make room for that. We also want to make room for the future future programs that we're thinking about. And again, we're just thinking about them. The coaching training program is a thought right now. It's a big thought. So some of you have been asking me, when's that going to be available? Guys, we'll keep you posted, but that's just some of the things that we're talking about now. Also group sessions and all of that, group events. But I want to talk about this, and again, rarely do I'm ever talking about coaching on these videos, but I want to make sure you know that if you really want to get a session with me, I'm available. It's that link, calendly.com/Tom Kearin. It's in the description of every video. I just want to say, guys, the best way to be considered, because as I mentioned, slots open up daily as we move things around, as things get rescheduled, something comes up with a client and they can't meet. So if you check back in the calendar, you might see, just like yesterday, someone went into a slot that just opened. There'll be slots available. But if you send me an email and say, Tom, or the team, and can you let us know when something's available? Almost impossible. Nothing's impossible, but we can't. It's very, for us, we've got to see you, right? So get on the calendar. If you want a session, get on the calendar. Find a date in 2 weeks out or 3 weeks out that works for you. And then send us an email and say you would like to move it up or you'd like to reschedule it. Then we can work with it. Guys, that's all I want to say there. I've never really talked about the coaching in the videos, but I want to really address it, that I'm here, and especially if you're in Europe, Asia, and Africa, and the time zones seem weird, and you don't see anything on the calendar, reach out to us, because we certainly can accommodate that, right? Get on the calendar and then we can accommodate you for sure. So I want to hit this idea with this client that, remember, one of the big things, one of the big points we hit, whether it's her skin condition or feeling that she's not noticed in these dinners that she has with her friends, or that she's not that interested, or that she's not that that doesn't engage them. Those are all assumptions that she's held, that she's not interested, that she's overwhelmed, that no one's paying attention to her, all of this, right? And I just want to say, it's not ever about denying conditions exist, whether it's a health condition, an event, something with your body, your health, whatever it is, money issue, whatever it is, it's not about denying the conditions exist, or that those appearances exist, or that you're having that experience. It's not that, right? This includes physical sensations, because some of you talked about, well, what about if I have this pain, a physical sensation in my body? It's not denying that you're not having that experience, or that they don't exist, because when you do that, that creates separation. Do you see it? And you can't control or create what you believe is separate from you. That's a big point I want to make today. So it's not about that. It's not about trying to ignore them. That implies separation. That condition is somehow outside of you, right? But what is it about? So it's not about trying to ignore them. When you try to ignore them or resist them, you just keep putting them there as part of your experience, as part of your reality. Instead, and I talked about this when I was pointing to Scripture with Jesus in front of Pontius Pilate, Jesus demonstrated the proper use of denial, right? Denying what? Denying their power over you. Hear it again. It's not from running from them. It's not, remember, it's judging. It's about not judging those appearances as something that has power over you, right? Because remember, they're always changing. Those conditions are always in play and always changing according to your assumptions, according to how you perceive them. Because remember, your perceiving is reality. So instead, deny their power over you. Reassert that your source. I am that source. I am that I am. Not any 3D condition. None of those are source of your reality. Nothing is outside of you. You are reality. All of it. Your perceiving is reality. There's nothing outside of you. So we're not talking about denying that those conditions are there. We're saying deny their power over you, and then they won't be there. They will change, right? When your assumptions change, the world changes, all of it, right? Assume your ideal reality into existence, because you are existence. You are awareness. Remember, whatever you are awareness, you are consciousness. So whatever you put your light on, whatever you point to, whatever you put your attention on exists because your attention's there. And when you pull your attention from it, when you pull your awareness of it, it can no longer be in your experience. You are that awareness. Very powerful today. So let's hit this like we never have before. And so this client was saying, it's a skin condition. That's not, it's not serious, but something that bothers her. And she says she feels awkward, overlooked, not interesting in social settings with her friends, right? So we played with this idea and said, look, you can, in any one of those events, you can assume who you want to be, how that's going to be, assume how you will be viewed by others, because you are reality. That's what she did. She assumed that she's interesting and funny and engaging. And it's interesting. She goes, Tom, it didn't seem like I said anything different or did anything different, but everybody seemed to be asking me questions. She said there was even a cute guy, a new guy someone brought along, that said to one of her friends that is interested in her, wants to get to know her more. Pretty cool, guys. And remember, this is what she said. She goes, I know I create reality, but these conditions feel out of my control. Well, remember, And I'm going to hit this idea that I know I create reality. We're going to break that statement down today. Because really, even the idea that I create reality or I attract reality keeps you separate, or it implies separation from that reality. You are reality. Your perceiving is reality. So we're really not manifesting or creating anything. We are that of reality. Everything's created by our assumptions. We are that reality in our assumption of it, in our announcement of it. So I really want to hit this. You can't create what you assume is out of your control or separate from you. Do you see? You can't create, you can't influence, you can't shape reality if you believe these conditions are out of your control or they're separate from you. So when she says, I know, she's saying, I am aware. I am aware as what? I am aware as awareness. That's a powerful statement. I am aware I create my own reality. Therefore, whatever I am aware of must exist as my experience of reality, because I am awareness is the only reality. My awareness itself is the only reality, its existence. So whatever I'm aware of must exist, because I'm awareness, I'm existence. And so when she says, I know I create my reality, but these conditions feel out of my control, she creates that reality. Do you see it? That is all she's going to be able to see. I create my reality implies separation between the I, between her awareness, and reality. Do you see this? I really want to break this down. It's okay to say I create reality, but say it with the knowing that the I equals reality, that there is no separation, right? Because that's what she was applying here, right? She's just feeling separate from the very reality that she says she's creating. And that can't be, because you can't influence, you can't create it if you believe it's out of your control, you believe it's separate from you. I create reality implies separation between the I, your awareness, and reality. And therefore, effort and willpower are believed to be required for reality to unfold the way I desire it. And therefore, it feels like it's out of your control. Do you see it? That's why, when we believe that we're creating and attracting reality, but that reality is sort of somehow outside of us still, or out of our control, or that we can't absolutely assume what we want, then it requires willpower, it requires effort. We've got to affirm it in. We've got to really find the right imaginal act, the right affirmation to make sure that reality responds. Remember your reality. You get to determine whatever you assume is the right affirmation, whatever you assume is the right imaginal scene, then that is the right imaginal scene. You're the one that gives it power. You're the one that gives reality light or life. There's nothing outside of your awareness. I just want to hit this point today, right? Yes, I create reality, but it's more than that. I is reality. You are reality. Your awareness of being is reality. It's awareness itself. Those 3D conditions are not outside of you, right? It's all you. That identity, that awareness of being is that identity or version of you, of that infinite multidimensional you. It's all you. And there are infinite versions, infinite identities that you can occupy or assume. How? Through your assumptions. Right? Your assumptions of who you are, your self-concept, and your relationship to the world determine your identity or version of you. But they also emanate from your identity in your assumptions. Your assumptions are your identity. Remember, we talked about the levels of creation. You create at that identity level. But that identity level has an assumption. And what's the core assumption? That I am. I am what? I am something. I am this or I am that. But the core assumption, the core conviction of identity is simply I am. And you get to determine what that is through your assumptions, right? And all outer conditions of people, places, and events, right? Even body conditions and health conditions and skin conditions, all those conditions and the inner conditions of thoughts and feelings, they're all reflections of who you say you are. In other words, they're all reflections of your assumptions. That's what it means that everybody is you pushed out. It's your assumptions of who you are. in your relationship to the world that are reflected or pushed out into the world. There's nothing out there but you. I know we've talked about this many times, and I just want to hit it in this way because she had a whole different experience based on her assumptions, based on her identity of what those weekend events are like. And even, she said, even now there's this guy that she thought was really cute that's interested in her, right? The person that she said she's not interested, when she went to I'm interesting, I'm fun, people laugh, that's the experience she had. It has to be. She's the only reality. It's her identity that determines it all. Now she's even saying that she feels that the skin conditions are now, that it's clearing up a lot more, and that she's just not even noticing it now, right? She's just in that assumption. We're gonna track this as she goes through it. We're gonna meet some more on this, but she is in clearly a new identity. But more than that, she knows that it's not any one identity. She can determine who she is in every moment. And the question is, what are you assuming right now? What are you assuming? Because that's your entire life experience. That's your entire identity, what you're assuming right now. That's big. So remember, that identity is reality. Change or choose your identity and viewpoint out from which you perceive the world, and your entire world changes. When you change that, when you choose your identity and viewpoint, vantage point, out from which you perceive the world, your entire world changes, because your identity is the perceiving, is reality. And how is all of that determined? By your assumptions. Who do you say I am? Remember, Jesus asked the question, who do you assume you are? Because that identity equals the perceiving, equals reality. There's nothing out there. Your perceiving is reality. Your identity is reality. Your assumptions are reality. Right? Awareness is existence, and existence, the isness of the absolute, is the one and only reality. Right? So how do you choose? With your assumptions. Right? And this is what Neville says. Remember, with each assumption has its corresponding world. In other words, each assumption has its corresponding identity or viewpoint from which you see the world. If you are truly observant, you will notice the power of your assumptions to change circumstances which appear wholly immutable. They can seem really immutable, hard to change, so solid. But hear Neville here. Each assumption has its corresponding world. Remember, it's about the law of correspondence, the law of resonance. Right? The law of vibration, the law of cause and effect, the law corresponding with a reality, the law of corresponding with a certain identity. What identity are you corresponding with? What identity are you resonating with through your assumptions? If you are truly observant, you will notice the power of your assumptions to change circumstances which appear wholly immutable. This is what she is experiencing, right? What we believe to be real, what we believe to be the real physical world is only an assumptive world. Also, Neville got it. What we believe to be the real physical world is only an assumptive world. It's just your assumptions. Pushed out there is what you're seeing, right? So remember, awareness, that awareness, that consciousness from which you come and of which you are made, from where you come and of which you are made, is the only reality. Awareness is existence. In existence, the isness of the absolute, of God, is the one and only reality. So you get to determine it. So it's really not even about I create reality. That even implies some separation. I am reality. There's nothing outside of me, right? It's not even about I manifest reality. I am reality. Do you see the power here? It's not even that I perceive reality. I am the perceiving. Reality is the perceiving. It's all you. When you get to that point, this is really the idea that this is the breakthrough that she thought that really hit it. Just hit her in a different way. It's the same thing that we talk about. Over 1,500 videos, another 80-something on the membership channel. We talk about it in live streams, but it's going to get you in a different way when you really start walking as that Christ, the Son of the living God, walking through your 3D experience, knowing that I amness, that I am God and there is no other, right? You can't create or manifest or control or perceive or attract anything you assume is out there or separate from you. Hear it again, because this is really the breakthrough. This is what she really got for the first time in just a different way. It just hit her differently. You can't create or manifest or control or perceive or attract anything in your life or who you are, you assume is out there and separate from you. The I, that awareness that you are, that reality that you are, that existence that you are equals reality. Therefore, you create a reality of conditions out there when you believe that they're separate from you, right? Because I equals reality, you create a reality of conditions out there that are out of your control, that have power over you. That's why she said that she feels like they have power over me, because they appear to. When you put them out there, when you put them separate from yourself, when you put the I separate from reality. I create reality, I manifest reality, I attract reality. There's nothing untrue in any of those statements. That's the paradox. I just want to go up a level here and say that you are reality. So you resist or crave them, right? And chase or wait for them. Right? All these conditions that you want, all these things, these desires that you want in your life, you're either resisting them or craving them, or chasing them or waiting for them. Always creating a reality where they are separate from you, where they're just out of reach, where they're out of your control, where maybe sometimes they'll be the way you want and sometimes not, but you believe you don't have any control about that, and it's just going to be a surprise. Right? So you're either resisting them or craving them or chasing them or waiting for them. Always creating a reality where they're separate from you, where they're out of reach. Right? Where you assume they're out there, out of your control. What's the key then? The key is what we always say. Be the identity or version of yourself who is already experiencing or living that reality. Be that identity. Through how? By your assumptions. Choosing who you are. Assume how you would like things to be, knowing that they already are in your assumption of it. Assume how, if it's something from the past or a past event, just like we talked about revision, assume how you would have liked things to be, knowing that they are that you change the past, that you change all time in your assumption of it. This is powerful. Right? Be the identity or version of yourself who's already experiencing living that reality. Right? Make a firm decision with the natural conviction of I am. Some of you have asked, well, I don't know how to get to stay in I am. You are always I am. I am is who you are. That's your nature. That's your name. So whenever you say I am, that's absolute, natural, absolute conviction of existence. You don't have to get there. You don't have to get that conviction. You don't have to work on that conviction. You don't have to manifest that conviction. You don't have to create that conviction. It's already within you. That's your true nature or name. I am that I am. That identity or version of self who is perfectly healthy, ridiculously rich, madly in love, adored, charming, funny, brilliant. It's all you. We had fun with this in this client session. Because towards the end of it, we're really playing with this. That I am that I am that I am. Who is that then? What is that I am? That I am, that identity, that version, who is perfectly healthy, who's ridiculously rich, who's madly in love, who's adored, who's charming, who's funny, who's brilliant. It's all you. It's endless what you can assume. Assume it into being and existence. Because you can, because you are beingness, you are existence. Assume it into being, right? Your entire life experience, past, present, and future, is what you, hear this, so simple, so powerful but simple. Your entire life experience, past, present, and future, right now, is what you assume it to be. Right now, and notice the tense here. The past right now is what you assume it to be, your entire life experience of the past, of what you believe is the past. The present, what you believe is the present. The future, what you believe is the future, is what you assume it to be right now. The outside world conditions change as your assumptions and identity change. Who do you say you are? Try it. Have some fun with it, like she did. There really is nothing, as Abraham Hicks and other spiritual teachers would say, there really is nothing serious going on out there. It's all you. There's nothing serious going on here. That really is the reality creation breakthrough that you have been waiting for. You are it. I is reality. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. Thank you for being with us on our Facebook group, the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors, facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful, for joining us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, and for joining our membership channel. If you've joined us, thanks. If you haven't, check it out. There's a link below. There's unique content on the membership channel. We just released a video a few days ago on the membership channel, and we have a live stream scheduled for Sunday, September 24th at 9 a.m. Pacific Coast Standard Time. We're going to come to you live. I'm going to come to you live right here from the studios of Be Something Wonderful here in Las Vegas and answer your questions. Send your questions to info@besomethingwonderful.com. Creators, with great love, with great light and infinite gratitude, this is Tom with Be Something Wonderful. We'll see you soon.